You're listening to PetLifeRadio.com.
Hi, pet parents. Well, it's this time of year. We have all the rain and storms coming, and that wreaks havoc with some of our little guys and big guys. They're just so afraid of storms. I have one. He shakes, he shivers, he hides. He actually likes to get back by computer wires, as stupid as that sounds. I have a great show. Stand by. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back, right after these messages. Stay tuned.
Petco, where the pets go. Petco, where the pets go.
Pet Life Radio has tail-wagging, fur-flying, fabulous deals for our listeners from Petco. Get $6 off your order of $60 or more and up to 40% off the entire Petco site. That's right, but that's not all. Because you're a Pet Life Radio listener, you'll also get free shipping on your order of $49 or more. $6 off, up to 40% off, and free shipping from Pet Life Radio and Petco. To get these awesome deals, go to PetcoDeals.com. That's PetcoDeals.com.
Petco, where the pets go.
I'm not much of a reader, but I do wish I were more well-read.
There are so many great books coming out. I wish I could find a way to keep up.
Audible.com makes it easy to stay well informed and catch up on your reading simply by listening. Audiobooks from Audible turn downtime into uptime. You'll be more productive and become well read.
Now I'm able to catch up on all the great books I've been wanting to read.
With Audible, I feel smarter.
Pet Life Radio listeners, try Audible.com now and get your first 30 days of Audible Listener Gold membership plan free. And get a free audiobook. Choose from over 100,000 titles. To get this great deal, go to audibledeals.com. That's audibledeals.com.
Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back. I'd like to introduce Andrew Kreitzer. He is managing member of Storm Defender. Hi, Andrew. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
So, can you describe for our listeners what Storm Defender looks like?
Sure. A lot of our customers like to say it looks like a superhero cape, quite honestly. It's bright red in color, and it fits around the dog.
I mean, it's just simply a cape. There's no drugs, in the cape or nothing that shakes or stimulates the dog at all, right?
Correct. It's, exactly as you've described, a cape. It does have a special metallic threaded material on the inside, though, and that's the key to its calming effect for the storm anxious dogs.
Okay, so there's something special within the product that calms the dogs. I don't know if it's too much of a trade secret, but maybe you could tell us a little bit, how does this material calm a dog that shakes like crazy when it storms? Usually when it's thunders more, sometimes even rain will scare some of these guys.
Sure. So my late father, who was the inventor, who was also an electrical engineer, and a lot of the behaviors he saw from our family dog growing up led him to believe that it was the static electricity that was causing the nervous behavior. Dogs that are scared of storms can almost sense the storm approaching. That's a good indication that it's atmospheric relations to the behaviors. So the cape basically helps to dissipate that static charge from around the dog's coat. And it kind of creates a safe, comforting feel for them, much like if you've seen dogs go and hide near grounded pipes in the house.
Really interesting. Now, why does this affect some dogs and not all dogs?
Boy, that's a great question, and I do not know. We do tend to see that it kind of comes on the older the dog gets, and in a lot of cases, the anxiety increases over time, but we don't know if it hurts the dog or if they just sense it and it's kind of an instinctual, trying to find safety. I'm not sure.
You know what? I think I might have an answer to my own question, because when I lived in a climate which was basically a desert, and the dog I had at the time, it didn't rain that often. So when it did, she was terrified, mostly, with the thunder. Then when we moved to a more tropical climate where it rains, more, it still bothered her. Yet she passed on. My other dog, he's a little timid for a big dog, but the rain doesn't bother him. So I wonder if some dogs are just either they're used to it, but then you have the issue where some dogs that are here in the same climate all the time are afraid of thunder.
Sure. There definitely are some cases where maybe it was triggered by a traumatic experience. I've certainly seen that. Personally, our family dog, growing up, it just kind of crept in there, and it wasn't necessarily related to the thunder, although I think a lot of people assume that's the case. It's been my experience with most of our clients that the thunder is almost a secondary response, kind of a learned response from the dog. They sense the storm initially, but then the thunder and rain and lightning, visually, that helps reinforce it, and then those aspects, become easy to recognize, I think.
Interesting. Now, the name of your product is Storm Defender, and obviously it's good to use for dogs that are afraid of storms. What other dogs can benefit from the Storm Defender? Like, are there other issues, whether they're scared or what have you, that the Storm Defender might help?
Well, we certainly don't market it directly for other issues. However, we have had some customers report successes on a number of things, such as car travel. If the dog's anxious to get into the car, that seems to help. Another customer I recently talked with, their dog would just get nervous and anxious when there were a lot of people around. And they had a Storm Defender initially for storms, but then they found that when they had a party or a lot of guests over, it seemed to help the dog calm down and handle the situation a little bit better than they were used to.
Plus, the dog is dressed nice for the party, right?
Yeah, costume party, perhaps.
Now, do cats, I don't know if you have a product for cats as well. Do cats get nervous with storms, or maybe they don't get affected as much?
Again, that's a question I'm not exactly sure of. I've had a few people ask if we make them for cats, which we don't specifically, and we've never really had a great test case to back up any successes or not with the cats. I think maybe part of it could be that the cats are so much more independent from dogs. They might have some of the nervousness, but they take care of themselves.
Plus, I know cats don't really like to wear things. I have put something on mine, but he doesn't like it, maybe because they groom themselves or...
Sure.
I don't know. But now, how did your father, who unfortunately passed, how did he come up with the idea to develop this?
Originally, it came from watching our dog's behavior, and he thought there was certainly a key to discovering the problem there, because our dog would go and kind of hunker down and cower near the grounded pipes in the bathroom. And being an electrical engineer, my dad thought that seemed to have something to do with it. And then he also read some research done by a veterinarian that theorized that the static electricity would cause the dogs to react that way. So using those two pieces, he developed the cape with some metallic threading, and kind of acts sort of like a dryer sheet that you would put in your clothes dryer to pull out the static electricity.
That's really interesting. Now, the capes, do they come in only in red?
Yeah, we just have red right now, although we are in the process of getting some different materials and some different finishes to the outside.
Now, do you also have storm defenders for when it's maybe storming in cooler weather, or is it just the one type of storm defender?
We really just have the one kind. I think most people that have dogs that are storm phobic keep them indoors in probably a more climate controlled area. Although we do have a lot of people that worry if it's going to be too hot or not. It's actually quite lightweight and breathable.
You say you've been talking about some of the customers and some of the feedback that you've received. Do you have any funny stories you could share with us?
Well, like I said, the superhero comments are always fun. They like to send us pictures and report in that their dog is, they feel like they have superpowers and they can brave the storm, which is kind of funny. One cool story that seems to come from quite a few different people is that the dog will actually go to the place where the cape is kept. As the storm comes in, they'll go to the drawer, perhaps in the kitchen or wherever they keep it, and the dog will sit in front of it, kind of like they would if they knew that's where their food was or their treats were. They'll go and sit and request the cape to be put on, which I think is pretty neat.
It's interesting, but, I've heard again and again that they tell us what they need in their way. Andrew, where can our listeners find Storm Defender?
Well, the easiest place is directly from our website, which is stormdefender.com. It is also available at Amazon. And then none of the big retail stores right now, but we're working on that. And then there's just a handful of boutiques throughout the country.
Thank you so much. Listeners, you can also find out more information on the episode page of this segment. There'll be a link to the Storm Defender website as well as a really cute picture of a dog wearing this really cool, quote, cape that protects him from the storms. Again, Andrew, thank you so much for coming on Best Bets for Pets and telling our listeners all about Storm Defender.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.
Thanks, listeners, for listening to this episode of Best Bets for Pets. Thanks to my producer, Mark Winter, for making me and my guests sound wonderful. Thanks to my test crew, Mr. Z, Nikki, and the famous Dennis, for testing products and giving me their feedback in their own special way. We'll be right back with another show.
We'll be right back, right after these messages. Stay tuned.
Introducing the new Bret Michaels Pets Rock collection exclusively at PetSmart. I created it for the pets that rock your world.
Shop the Bret Michaels Pets Rock collection and celebrate PetSmart's 25th anniversary with up to 25% off thousands of items on the PetSmart site. Plus free shipping on orders of $49 or more. Go to PetSmartDeal.com. That's PetSmartDeal.com. PetSmartDeal.com.
I don't make any decisions about who to hire without going to Angie's List first.
You'll find reviews on home repair to healthcare, written by people just like you.
With Angie's List, I know who to call, and I know the results will be fantastic.
Angie's List, who you can trust.
Go to angieslist.com/best and get 25% off any subscription. That's angieslist.com/best. BEST.
Hi, I'm Lisa Smith-Putnam, the host of the new and exciting show, Your Pets, My Dogs, here on Pet Life Radio. Your Pets, My Dogs will feature celebrity interviews, we'll talk to everyday pet owners, and more. Listen, I am here to entertain you each and every week, right here on Pet Life Radio. Again, that's Your Pets, My Dogs. I'm your host, Lisa Smith-Putnam. Your Pets, My Dogs. Your Pets, My Dogs.
Let's talk pets.
Let's talk pets
On Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back. What are some of the worst things we deal with, being pet parents? I think it's illness. And then the scariest thing that affects all of us is when your pet gets lost. I don't think there's anything more devastating than when your pet is lost. I have a great way to resolve that. I am here today with Dave Vigil. He's the president of SnapTracks, and they make a product called Tagg. Welcome, Dave.
Hey, thank you very much for having me on.
Thanks for being here. When you have pets, there's a chance that they in the lifetime of the pet that they'll get lost. I've experienced it. It's heartbreaking and, it's just the worst feeling ever. Tagg really lessens the chance that the dog will be lost.
Yeah, absolutely 100%.
I'm talking about it, but let's tell our listeners a little bit about it. What exactly is Tagg?
Tagg is a GPS tracking device that also works in conjunction with the cellular network. And so wherever your pet is in the entire United States, including Hawaii and Alaska, if the pet just happened to wander off for whatever reasons, as we know in our daily life that happens, the gate is left open by the children or the gardener, or the front door is open, or they break a leash, all those things that make our friends and our loved ones in the family wander off, you are in control, and it alerts you to immediately when that happens, if it does happen.
That sounds incredible. Now, is Tagg only for dogs?
No, in fact, many of us, we have over 20,000 people on Facebook right now, and they tell their tales about it every day, and that's on Tagg the Pet Tracker out on Facebook. And it's incredible to watch it on a daily experience, and so we have many of our customers are actually putting it on their cats. What we tell our customers, though, is given the size of it, although it only weighs an ounce, we still tell people that it's best probably for animals of 10 pounds or greater. And we all know that there's many cats that are bigger than 10 pounds. So.
Yeah, like mine. He's a he eats better than the dogs. I mean, he's a cat that thinks he's a dog. I want to hear about some of those stories from all those Facebook people, but can you first explain how Tagg works?
Yeah, it's very, very simple. We initially started selling Tagg off of Tagg.com and Tagg with 2 Gs, and because we wanted to get it direct to the consumer, but now today you can buy it in a Target store or you can buy it in an Apple store, so we're in all the Apple stores. And when you bring it home, it's very simple to set up. You just put it on in the instructions. I think we've got it down to most people are activating in less than 3 or 4 minutes. And then once it's activated, it will let you know via a text or an email when your dog leaves or cat leaves a specific area that you draw around your home or your place of work or wherever you spend most of your time with your dog. And we call that your Tagg zone. And then once it does do that, then it gives you instructions of where it is and how to get to that, whether it's driving instructions or a map to see where exactly is your loved cat or dog. And that's how it works. Again, it really puts you in complete control. We have a number of our pet parents that today thought the original problem with microchipping in animals were going to help you find that, but that really requires a good Samaritan to find your pet, take it to a shelter or a vet, have it scanned, then to contact you. But with Tagg the Pet Tracker, the power is all in you, and you have the immediacy of that. You don't have to rely on anybody but yourself and your cell phone to find your pet.
That's amazing. And you know, you're so true about the microchips. My cat is one that found me, and I took him to get scanned, but you're right, a lot of people don't. And I also put up signs all around my area. Nobody claimed him. But had he had a tag on, and he does weigh more than 10 pounds, the owner could have found him again.
And that's the tragic story we hear so often from everybody. We're trying to get the word out the best we can. And the other thing that's great about this product is it really was purpose-built for the pet industry. It wasn't a generic tracking device that we just sort of slapped on a collar. So we built this so you can use Tagg on existing collars, because we know how everybody loves to bling out their own pet. And give them him or her their own personality with their collar and other things they do for them. And so the Tagg attaches to existing collars. It will alert you when the battery is low. So you'll get a text or an email either on the website or on your app on your phone. We have an iPhone app and we have an Android app, or even on a text message and tell you, hey, it's time to go charge this. And then when you put it on, as soon as it's fully charged, you'll get an email back saying it's time to put it back on your pet. So again, it's very simple to use and really straightforward, and we have so many people giving testimonies about all of that and our great customer care. All of that is out and living in the social world we live in today. It's all out there in living color for people to see, either on the Amazon website giving product reviews, or on the Apple site with product reviews, or on our own website too.
How did Tagg come about? What is the story behind inventing this great product?
Well, SnapTrax is a 100% owned company of a subsidiary of Qualcomm. And Qualcomm, for all of your listeners, many of them probably know, but we are the leading wireless chip maker in the world. And what we love to do is to go help in certain markets where that technology, wireless technology, has really not been applied properly. Either it hasn't been designed properly, or it hasn't been marketed properly. And so that's what we went out and we talked to the consumer and we said, what can we do to help you in this area? What are your angst and your concerns, and what have people been doing? And there have been tracking devices in the pet industry for years, and they've really never been, as I've said, purpose-built, where you really took the pet and the pet parent into consideration when you're building this product. And that's what we ended up doing. So we talked down, we sat with pets, we talked with vets, we talked with the people like yourself that understand the pet industry, and we believe we hit the ball out of the ballpark with Tagg the Pet Tracker and the product that we brought to market. And that's really what it came about. And so the great thing about SnapTrax is that we are a bunch of pet zealots and that have grouped together. We're in a startup mode, and we believe that we've really put our heart and soul into this product.
It's a great product and it's a great idea, behind it. I have a question. If you're traveling and your pet is at your home, but the sitter's, you have a sitter watching your pet, are you able to find out where your pet is, even if you're traveling somewhere on the other side of the country or something?
Yes, absolutely, 100%. In fact, you would get an alert. If you were one of our great testimonials, we have some of those, and some of them are on videos on our website on Tagg.com. But one example is there is a person who was on business travel in Chicago, and she got an alert that she lives in Reno, and she had an alert that her dog had left the tag zone, and so she called her, and at the same time her significant other was also in Reno, but at work. They both got their messages, and then they were able to look at the map and find out and go and find their pet. So we also have the ability to put your family members to get the alert with you. And so you can have the dog walker on there, you can have your vet, and so if something were to happen with your pet when you were traveling, you would know that because you're going to get it's like a cell phone call to you wherever you're at, and then the people in the area that were perhaps with your dog would be able to get that as well, and so you can all as a community go find your pet.
That's great. I mean, because when you're traveling and your pet's at home, there's always that scare that if your pet gets out or if the sitter, accidentally, not knowing all the behaviors like you do, leaves the door open a minute too long or a second too long. I've found myself, usually when you have dogs, you attract dogs. So there was one time I found a Weston Terrier, and the people, I kept calling the phone number. This is many years back, but I kept calling the phone number, no answer, left messages. I think it was almost a day later that I got a call back, and the people told me that they are pet sitting the dog, and they had to break into the people's homes because they're on vacation in order to get the phone message. Kind of crazy.
It is crazy. And the other one, we had another example of a story. I mean, you have so many of these stories. And again, our whole point is to try to keep, we don't want any more posters on telephone poles. I mean, so keeping your dog off the pole is exactly what we're trying to do. And we had a story of somebody who thought they had a completely protective backyard, completely fenced in, said they never thought that their dog would ever get out. And what happened was one night a drunk driver hit their back fence. They didn't know that in the middle of the night, left a hole in the fence, and the dog escaped. And they never knew it happened until the next morning, and the dog had already been missing for 12 hours. With Tagg, the pet tracker, you would know immediately if that dog had left that backyard.
Now, another idea popped into my head, or another thought popped into my head. With Tagg, it sounds like you're able to, you can draw an area. Now, what if you're traveling and you have a pet sitter, but it's a new pet sitter? Would you be able to make a smaller location and know that your pet sitter is taking your dog on walks, really taking the dog on walks 3 times a day, or maybe only once a day, and they're cheating a little bit?
It's so funny that you asked that question, Michelle. But the question is 100% true. And so you would be able to you can change your tag zone all the time. You talk about being traveling, but even if you're at work and you have a dog walker come over once a day, maybe you live in New York City or wherever you have your dog walker, and that would be absolutely, or if it's your own child, you want to make sure your own child is taking the dog, you would be able to track and see that your dog left the house and how far that went and how long they were outside. And so we've actually had a number of dog walking companies that have thought about equipping their own walkers with tags, putting it on dogs so they can prove to their clients and to their owner of the company that they're out there walking and they're just not sitting at home watching Oprah or whatever they're watching on the home TV.
Yeah, it's a good idea, because some pet sitting services can be costly, and you want to make sure that they're doing what they say they're doing and taking your dog out. Are there any new products on the horizon for Tagg?
Well, the great thing is that we do have a passionate group of users. We've only been out for less than a year with the product, probably closer to 10 months. And a lot of people have given us some ideas on how to improve the product. And so we're taking those all into consideration. But our number one goal is to make sure that there's no more pet posters up on telephone poles, and really putting the power back into the owner that they've never had before, that the other products that are out there in the marketplace attempt to do, whether it's a dog collar or whether it's a microchip. You're still at the mercy of a Good Samaritan. In this case, this gives you, the owner, the power to make sure you can find your pet immediately. And so we're focused on that right now, but we're constantly looking for the next best thing to incorporate in the product. But one thing you can be sure with the product you buy today, and that's, again, because of the technology we have, whatever we bring out will come. You will get that already with the product that you're going to buy from us today.
So your product is backward compatible.
Backward compatible, and we can over-the-air upgrade with it. And so whatever new software we have, you won't have to bring back the old hardware and change it out. It will come already with it. So there should be no hesitancy in any waiting for the next improvement. Whatever we're planning right now in the near term is going to come with that existing hardware.
Oh, that's wonderful. Where can our listeners find this great product?
As I said, you can go online to Tagg.com and buy it there. You can go to Amazon and buy it there, or you can go into an Apple store and or all the Target stores. And we're getting ready for the holiday selling season and back to school, and you'll probably see us in some other retail stores here real soon for that.
That's great. Now, right now, it's just available in the U.S. That's correct?
That is right. It's just available, and it just works in all of the U.S., as I've said.
Any plans to broaden the horizons?
That is one of the things that we've had a number of our customers, both in Canada and Mexico and in Europe, asking us when they can have it available. And so we're taking those into consideration and trying to figure that out. But we've not announced anything like that yet.
Dave, Tagg is such a great product. How much does something like this cost?
Currently, we're selling it for $99, and that includes a couple months of service with it. And then after that initial period where you can see if it all works for you, it's $7.95 a month. But we also know that there are many pet parents that own multiple pets in their family. In fact, many of our customers have multiple tags on their devices for each of their animals and their family. And so we wanted to do a family plan inside of the Tagg family plan. And so each additional pet, it's only $89 for the tracker because you can still use the same charging station. And then it's only 95 cents a month for each additional pet.
Oh, that's such a great value. It's wonderful. Thank you so much. Dave, it was so wonderful to talk to you about Tagg. This is a great product. Listeners, this information will also be available on the episode for this segment, and there will be a link to the Tagg website as well as a picture and a little bit of information about the product. And again, Dave, thanks so much for coming on Best Bets for Pets and telling our listeners all about Tagg.
Thank you for the opportunity. Call anytime.
Dave, it was such a pleasure to have you on Best Bets for Pets. Listeners, be sure to check out Tagg at tagg.com. What a small price to pay for peace of mind of your loved little furry guys and girls, all your furry babies. We will also have some information on the episode page of this segment, and there'll be a link to the site as well as a picture. Thank you so much, Mark Winter, my producer, for making me and my guests sound wonderful. Thanks for my team, Mr. Z, Nikki, and Dennis, for testing all my products. And so much thank you, listeners, for listening to Best Bets for Pets. It's so appreciated.
Let's Talk Pets, every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.